Hi everyone, welcome to the world of hacking. So today we are going to learn insecure deserialization attack. So this is one of the famous web attack which is happening in almost all the modern web applications. So to understand this attack, there is something background we have to understand what is serialization, what is deserialization. So if you talk about the serialization, generally, a developer will be sending some data. That data will convert into some objects. That objects will convert into from some stream of bytes, and that stream of bytes will save it as a file, will transfer into database, or it will save into the memory. So every programmer or the product developer, they are going to serialize some set of objects to transfer easily or to save the files in the database securely. So in order to do that, developer is doing the serialization process. And the reversible process, which converts from the stream of bytes to objects and from objects to the plain text, which is a normal data, that is called deserialization. So the process is fine, like the serialization, deserialization is good for transferring of files or storing into the database or having any communication. But why security has come up in this insecure deserialization? Because the application is not handling properly while deserializing. A hacker can come into the particular deserialization process and can change the data and can execute some unintended commands or malicious commands to execute the particular data. So that's where this insecure deserialization has come up. So let us see some example here. A hacker is, generally trying to do some serialized object from the website. While deserializing, he used to change the data. So for example, if some ABC is being, serializing the object, and then after deserializing, the ABC should come as an output, but hacker is adding some additional parameters while deserialization, like deleting, executing, shell execution, any kind of data that is getting from the server. So hacker is able to execute such kind of scripts. So we will go with some example, practical example of insecure deserialization, and we can see how data is serializing and how we can deserialize. While deserializing, how we can do a small technique of exploitation. So before this, let us see some standard definitions from OWSP and Portswigger, what they're exactly telling about this deserialization. So OWASP was telling exploitation of deserialization is somewhat difficult as of the shell exploits rarely work without changes or tweaks to the underlying exploit code. So how do you identify if your application is vulnerable to this? So for that, you need to identify first whether your data is serialized in any of the place. So your data is being getting serialized, then your data will be deserialized. In between this process, we can do some type of manipulation during the deserialization, and we can execute some attacks. So some kind of remote code execution attacks also happen in this particular scenarios. Now let us see the definition from Portswigger. Portswigger is saying about when user controllable data is deserialized by a website, then this insecure deserialization occurs. It can enable an attacker manipulate, sanitize serialized objects in order to pass harmful data into application code. And It is even possible to replace serialized object with an object of an entirely different class. This is an important point where we are doing a deserialization. The attacker might change the code as well. So let us see one example, live example in the application where you have to check for insecure deserialization lab. So we have a lab available for insecure deserialization and try to access the lab. Our major part is to identify first whether this application is using serialized objects or not. So try to log in first. So the login will be the default winner and the Peter. I'll mention here. The login will be the winner and Peter and login. And I am able to intercept now. Application. So now let us see if I click the delete account, is something data is serialized or not. So from this request, you can see which line is getting serialized. Can anyone try to say which line is serialized here? So we can guess this third line is serialized because this is in form of some base 64 format where if you decode this, you will be getting the plain text. For example, I'm selecting this and we have an option inspector in burp suite here where you can inspect this so you can see the plain text. So here you can see the username, winner, access token, and also you have some folder. So we need to do a manipulation of these serialized objects. When we do manipulation of serialized objects, the particular user will be deleted if we change the username from winner to Carlos. So first send this request to repeater and drop this request because we don't want to delete winner account, and hence I am dropping this request. Drop and intercept off and you can go back. You are still logged in with winner. Now go to the repeater. This repeater, we have to change this to Carlos. So we have an option to edit here. So we can write the name, Carlos is the name. And there is one file in the Carlos that even that also we can delete. So this is the file. So this is the file of Carlos where you can delete the file inside the Carlos. So I'm just replacing that, replacing this line to this. So now we have replaced from S11 to S23. So now we have replaced. So the username has been replaced and the file has been replaced. Now we have to identify one parameter called access token. If you get the access token, then you will be able to delete the user of the Carlos very easily. So try to check the access token from the response and replace that token here, and we can have deleted successfully of the Carlos user. So let us see. So when you deselect this, the data has been gone. So let us select again. Now change this winner to Carlos and replace this to Carlos Morel.txt file, which we can delete this file. Now apply changes. Try to send this to response. We got some server error, but still we can see if there is any data passing it. Yes, so we can see some got an exception, debug exception with some access tokens. Let us see what token we have here, and we will replace these tokens from here. So 7KI, we have this. So let us replace this YSK7A. So let us copy the same and try to replace a token. And when you get this token, the account will be deleted easily. So we are doing a manipulation in the serialized process. So copy the other one. This is the same token which we have existing, and replace this. Click apply changes. Now send this request again. So let us see whether the lab is solved. It says lab is not solved. That means access token is still not able to got the correct access code. Now let us see, do this 7i and replace this with another access token and click on apply changes and send this request and see we have got any lab solved, not solved. That means this access token is also not accepted. Now try to set another access token which is shown here. Use this the last token and see if we can able to bypass this. The exploitation is very difficult, but when you understand the serialized concept, where it is getting serialized, it is very easy for us to exploit this. So apply changes and send. Now still not solved. So this is very tough to give all the access tokens. Now let us go a step back here and see what token we can give. So I'm checking for another token 7i. I'm replacing this. Let us replace this. Yes. Now one access token got accessed. You can see here lab got solved. So congratulations, you solved the lab. That means the access token got successfully applied when we manipulated that and sent. This means the careless user and the file also got deleted. Now to check in the application, let us refresh this page. Oh, okay, we got it. We have successfully solved the lab. The user Carlos has been deleted using, insecure deserialization. While deserializing the objects, we are manipulating and changing the data which got deleted from the server. So this is a concept which understand more and we can easily do it from our practical side. Okay. Thank you for watching this. If you have any questions, comment us. Happy hacking.